Okay, we're at 12 o'clock. Brandy, I'll ask you to share your screen. And Lionel, we had 9 proxies received, and we have 24 folks on the call, so we have achieved quorum and we can proceed.
Perfect. Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to the CPHR Saskatchewan's 2025 Annual General Meeting. For those who I haven't had the opportunity to meet, I am Lionel Tatusis, Board Chair of CPHR Saskatchewan's Board of Directors. Just wanted to do a bit of a land acknowledgement as we gather here today. We acknowledge we are on various treaty territories throughout the province, the homeland of the Métis as well. We pay our respect to the First Nations and Métis ancestors of this land. I myself am on Treaty 6 territory here in Saskatoon on Muskeg Lake Cree Nation. Treaty 6 encompasses the lands of the Cree, Dakota, Nakota, Saulteaux, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. We are dedicated to ensuring that the spirit of reconciliation is honored and respected. This acknowledgement also affirms our relationship with one another, and we are committed to move forward in partnership with Indigenous nations in the spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. So just before we get into things, just a couple of housekeeping items. The AGM notice and package was emailed to members. You would have also received all the documents for today's meeting in the meeting notice, and they are available on the CPHR Saskatchewan's website. Please take a moment to find that package, which includes the agenda, minutes from our last AGM on September 12th, 2024, the annual report, the nominating report, and the 2024-25 audited financial statements. As this is a virtual AGM, our voting process will be a bit different than it is in person. We will bring a motion forward and pause to ask if there are any questions or changes. When we call for a motion, and we will ask for someone to move the motion and to second. To do this, please turn on your camera and unmute to move or second a motion. And then we'll put a poll up to vote either yes or no on the motion. The AGM will be recorded and posted on the website following the AGM. Amanpreet Kaur, Member Relations Coordinator, will be taking meeting minutes. With that, we are ready to get started. I would like to call the meeting to order at 12:03 p.m. As per Administrative Bylaw 11.3, 25 voting members and at the commencement of a duly constituted meeting of the members shall be necessary to constitute a quorum for the transaction of business. Voting members include professional, candidate, associate, general, and students. So I see from our notes here, we've got 37 people registered for the AGM, participating virtually, and 9 proxies have been received. So we have met quorum. Thank everybody for being here, and we'll continue on here with our slides. On the slide, you'll see that our agenda for the meeting is posted here. We've covered off the confirmation of voting delegates. Then we have the approval of the agenda. Then we'll move into approval of the minutes from the 2024 AGM. Next, we'll present highlights from the annual report and then move into new business section and finally adjournment. So I'd like to call for a motion to approve the agenda. If I could get a mover.
I can do that.
Oh, thank you, Norm. And seconder, please.
It's Janelle, I can second.
Janelle, thank you. Okay, I'd like to ask that we launch the poll. Okay, we have all in favor there, 100%. Thank you for that, Brandy. And the motion is carried to approve the agenda. Next, I'd like to call for a motion to approve the minutes from our September 12th, 2024 meeting. So if I could get a mover for those minutes. Just scanning to see. I might not have everybody's video on the screen, sorry, but
I can move, Lionel.
is that
This is
Isioma?
Isioma. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Isioma. Get a seconder, please.
I can second that.
I see Jeff and hear Jeff. Thank you. Okay, we'll launch the poll. Ask everybody to please vote. And that has been carried. Thank you, everyone. Okay, well, we'll move on. The annual report can be found in the AGM notice package and can be found on our website. Some of the main highlights I'd like to go through here, and they include a bit on my term as board chair. I'm just really grateful, really filled with deep appreciation and pride on the progress of our organization has made over this past year. It's been a year of thoughtful transition, continued evolution, and a renewed focus on our future as both a legislated regulator and a professional association. And, you know, we've had a lot of discussion at our board in terms of balancing those things and, you know, but we feel we have a great handle on this and we're well positioned to move the CPHR Saskatchewan forward. One of the most meaningful milestones this year was supporting Ashley Langlois in her first full year as CEO and registrar. Ashley has brought strong leadership, a fresh perspective, and a genuine commitment to both the public interest and a membership value. Her collaborative and forward-thinking approach is already making a significant impact on our organization and the HR profession as a whole in Saskatchewan. So thank you, Ashley, for everything, and it's been great working this past year, and we'll continue to work on in the coming year. At the board level, we remain focused on advancing the priorities outlined in our 2024 to 2026 strategic plan. We continued to strengthen governance, align with regulatory best practices, and uphold robust professional standards. This year also marked the launch of a comprehensive marketing strategy and implementation plan, a key initiative under our brand and stakeholder relations pillar of our strategic plan. This work aims to increase awareness of the CPHR designation, grow our membership, and deepen our peer-to-peer HR community. It reflects our commitment to enhancing the trust, value, and visibility of the HR profession across Saskatchewan. We've seen a growing number of individuals across Saskatchewan actively pursuing the CPHR designation, an encouraging sign of the continued relevance, credibility, and value of the credential in today's human resources landscape. Congratulations to the 58 individuals who received their CPHR designation this year and completed this significant milestone that reflects a deep commitment to the professional excellence, ethical practice, and continued growth in the HR field. CPHR Saskatchewan continues to offer meaningful professional development experiences and opportunities for members to connect. We welcomed over 270 delegates to our annual conference in Regina, which showcased 4 incredible keynotes, meaningful breakout sessions, and the unforgettable Kevin Lim as our MC. I thoroughly enjoyed Kevin. He really livened things up for us in Regina, and we're looking forward to this year's event as well. Our virtual HR forum brought together over 170 registrants across the province, making connections and learning more accessible to our members across the province. In addition, in partnership with MLT Aikens, we hosted 7 labor and employment law workshops throughout the province, bringing participants together to discuss emerging legal issues in the HR space. And lastly, it's been a great year. I want to thank our board of directors, our staff, and our volunteers for your dedication to this profession and our organization. So there's a lot of volunteers, obviously, to support this great organization, and I'd like to take some time just to recognize some of the time and commitment put in over the past year. So we'll go into slide number 7 here. I'd like to thank our professional conduct committee for all their work, all their efforts. I'd like to thank the members of the Discipline Committee. On the screen, you can see our folks there, very valued members on the Discipline Committee. I'd like to thank our Validation of Experience Committee. I'd like to thank our Professional Development Committee. And thank you to our Mentorship Committee. Awesome work being done there as we mentor our future HR leaders. As far as our board, I'd like to recognize and take a moment to recognize and thank our board of directors for this past year for their support to CPHR Saskatchewan. I'm fortunate to work alongside my fellow board directors, a dedicated and talented group of professionals. We have one director who is leaving the board this year, and I'd like to take a moment to thank her. Thank you to Sarah Johnston, who has served as a board of director for the past 6 years. We came onto the board together and learned along the way. And on behalf of the board and CPHR Saskatchewan, we're profoundly grateful for the time, energy, and expertise that you have generously shared with us. Thank you for your remarkable service and for being a pillar of strength and guidance for the board. Okay, we'll move on to ratification of our board nominees. So as indicated in the HR and Governance Committee nominating report provided in the package, we'll move into the ratification of nominees for the board of directors. In accordance with the bylaws, the following directors are within their approved terms of office and will be continuing on the board: Carmen Kweski, Regan Lowe, Janelle Piant, Norm Peel, Leah Regent, Shauna Wilkinson, and Kaylin Schroeder as our board slate there. Regarding the board executive and board departures, board chair, myself, Lionel Tatusis, will be moving into the role of past chair as of the AGM in September 2025. Chair-elect Jeff Hepp, CPHR, will be moving into the role of board chair as of the AGM in September 2025. And as mentioned, Director Sarah Johnson will be leaving the board as of the AGM in September 2025. So our nominating committee met and is recommending the re-election of one director and the election of 2 new board directors, such that the board will be comprised of a total of 11 directors and 1 public appointee for the 2025-2026 year. The committee is pleased to recommend the following candidate for election. This candidate is a current board member and is eligible for a re-election pursuant to the administrative bylaws: Amy Gibson. The committee is pleased to recommend the following candidates for election for a 2-year term and whose name will be included on the formal slate presented to membership at the AGM in September 2025. Isa Parker, Isioma Coker. With the slate being presented, I would like to call for a motion to approve the board nominees for 2025-2026. I'll be looking for a mover for this.
Manuela.
Okay, I hear Kaylin Schroeder, and I saw your microphone go off, and seconded by
Emanuela.
Emanuela. Okay,
Yep.
second in there. Thank you. I'll ask that we launch the poll. Great, 100%, all in favor, so that motion is carried. So we'll move on next. I'd like to call upon our board member, Norm Peel, our treasurer, to present the audited financial statements for 2025.
Okay, thanks, Lionel. Just a few notes on the financial statements that are in the annual report. Just overall, the auditor's report came back as a clean audit. We had a solid audit trail and records were well organized and clean. They did move some prepaid expenses impacting net income, which includes speaker fees of 14,000 and investment activities of 20,000. That's just because the materiality of our audit is set quite low, so they moved it from an expense over to a prepaid, moved it into 2025, 26. Just a few small year-end adjustments. Overall, our assets are up by about 50,000 year over year. Current liabilities are 101,230, which is up from 84,561, and that's more just because of activity through the year. Now what we did do a somewhat major change to how we treat our reserve funds this year. We actually put designations on them so that they're named. And this was a recommendation from our accountant or from the audit last year. So what you'll see if you look at the detail of the balance sheet, you'll see restricted funds and unrestricted funds, and that's just that's the process, putting the names on them. So roughly in our restricted funds, we have about $250,000 set aside as an operating reserve, and then another 250,000 set aside as basically a legal reserve, just in from the protecting the public portion. So we have that, and then we have sort of an unrestricted reserve, which is really just our, those are funds that we at year end didn't need, but we would use in the future, and we'll re-examine the reserves every year as a board, just to make sure that we have the right amounts, and the amount that we're holding in reserves is reflective of what the actual need may be for legal and operating. Reserves or revenues rather, we were at just over $1.1 million, which is up from 984,000, and that's more just that's growth in membership. It's growth in a lot of areas. Conference did well, that sort of thing. With that though, the expenses are also up. But all in all, we have a 34,341 surplus for the year. So that's kind of the financial statements. Unless there's any questions, I'll call for a motion. Oh, sorry, I better read this properly. I would like to ask for a motion for the approval of the audited financial statements ending April 30th, 2025.
Amy Gibson can move, Norm.
Okay, thank you. And I just need a seconder.
I can second, Norm.
Okay, Carmen, you're green. So Carmen seconder, and then I guess just call for the poll. Okay, and that is carried. Thank you very much. One more motion from me will be just to approve NWC Chartered Professional Accountants LLP as our auditors for the 2025-2026 year. They're really good to work with, so no need to look at someone else right now. So I just need a mover and a shaker on that one as well.
I can nominate to move Isioma.
Isioma, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Lionel can second.
Lionel second, and then we just need the poll again. Right. Thanks, everybody. That's it for me.
Thank you, Norm, for the report on the audited financial statements for 2024, 2025. Before we move to adjourn, I'd like to remind folks about our upcoming conference. I don't know if Ashley, I think we've got some big numbers the last I heard. I'm not sure if there's an updated number, but that conference is October 8th and 9th. So get in if you haven't yet, but we've got an exciting lineup of keynote speakers and breakout sessions, and it's shaping up to be a great event and a highlight of the year for sure. So we're just looking forward to this Premier Learning event for everybody here in HR within the province. So I guess with that concludes our 2025 annual general meeting. Can I ask for a motion to adjourn the 2025 AGM?
I'll motion, Lionel.
Okay,
Carmen.
I see Carmen Koeski.
I can second.
Normal second, and all in favor? Great. Well, in record time, we're done our AGM, so I want to thank everybody for taking time here over the lunch hour to get through this important business, and we'll see you all soon. So thank you very much.
Thank you.